Hey everybody, welcome to Bucketman Scouting. In today's video, I'm going to talk about why the analytics have killed the game of football, most importantly, the NFL. In my personal opinion, the NFL has regressed year after year since the 90s, and I believe it's because of the analytics and stats that these owners, the NFL, and these teams just clamor over for. A great organization that defines analytics and that defines stats is Pro Football Focus. And I believe that they're part of the reason why the game of football has been diminished to where it's at now. The NFL to me is a complete joke. I believe that the NFL doesn't want a dominant team anymore. They don't want good play on the field. They like to have these refs interject. They like to have these, the NFL really likes the suspense and the oh my God moment. And I'm going to bring up specific examples of why I believe that the analytics have killed the NFL. So let's talk about the Denver Broncos because I think they're a perfect example of why the NFL is just a crap product, and there's a plethora of reasons why, and I'm going to specifically talk about this year's Denver Broncos. The NFL, for some reason, has an infatuation for the Denver Broncos. I don't know what it is, but when you have a common sense individual like myself that believes in the power of the All-22 film, and in my personal opinion, I don't believe people like to do the hard work. And the reason I say people don't like to do the hard work is because they just want to rely on these Pro Football Focus individuals that provide you stats without context. And there's an asterisk with that. Stats without context. So an example of that is if Josey Jewell had 5 tackles in the game, okay, how did he generate those 5 tackles? Were there good tackles or were they plays down the field when the receiver or running back were torching Josey Jewell all day long over the top or in his zone? But to get back to why I believe teams don't want to do the hard work is because I think that these agents and organizations pay organizations like Pro Football Focus to spew a bunch of bullshit, and then these players and coaches and GMs and owners believe that shit. I think that the All-22 film breakdowns is a dying breed across the NFL. There are more analytical departments, and you can go to denverbroncos.com and see how much the Broncos are into the analytical side of the game more than the All-22 film breakdown common sense side of the game. And the reason I bring up why the NFL is a dying product, because you have 3 examples here. You have the Kansas City Chiefs, you have the Buffalo Bills, and the Minnesota Vikings. These are the 3 teams I'm going to bring up because when you watch the All-22 film the week prior to when they faced the Denver Broncos, these teams completely look different. They look completely different than when they faced the Denver Broncos. And I just don't think a lot of the teams have identities anymore. Same with the Broncos. I believe that they try to go for these highlight reels, these analyticals, what the stats say, rather than doing the common sense thing of the NFL. I just don't think that the NFL caters to good football anymore. And I also think that goes to coaching as well. I just don't think coaching is at the level that it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. You have these, and the NFL has completely ruined the product of football. I mean, you have corners that you don't get the Champ Baileys anymore. You don't get the Louis Wrights. You don't get the Deion Sanders anymore. Safeties, you don't get the Steve Atwaters. You don't get the Troy Polamalu's. You don't get the Ed Reeds. You don't get the Brian Dawkins anymore. Linebacker, coverage linebacking. You don't get the Bill Romanowskis anymore. You don't get the Tom Jacksons anymore. You don't get those type of linebackers anymore. You don't get the Ray Lewises anymore. And I just think that is a bigger conglomerate of what the NFL is today. It's just sad to see. And, I have the Denver Broncos who, again, they go away from what works time and time and time again. They have to wait till the fourth quarter to score their first touchdown, and there's a reason for that. Is because they try to go away from what works. They try to do this Pat Shurmur analytical 20-plus yard down the field, trying to go for highlight reels on Sunday Night Football. Why can't you just stick to what your identity is? And the Denver Broncos are a perfect example of that. Their identity is to run the football, the quick passing game, play action down the field. They don't do that. The Broncos, they don't do that consistent enough. And that is just a dog shit product, in my personal opinion. You have the Minnesota Vikings who, again, the week prior against the Saints, did a lot of bootleg passes. They ran the football. And then what happened in the second half against the Broncos? They went away from what worked and cut the legs from under Joshua Dobbs. You have the Buffalo Bills. Oh, we're just going to, we're going to cough up the football. We're going to play lazy football. We're not going to, do this. We're not going to do that. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to throw it around. And this defense for the Denver Broncos is asking to be thrown on in the soft zones, but let's just continue to throw it deep. Let's continue to do 4-yard out routes under the first down yard marker. That's just going to work, right? That's going to set up those plays down the field, but it doesn't translate to anything. But what happened when the Buffalo Bills ran the football, got rid of the ball quick, played smart, common sense football, and got away from the analytics? They looked very good on the field. Same with the Kansas City Chiefs are a perfect example of this. They like to do these trickery bullshit type plays to try to impress the NFL, to try to impress the fans. Instead, you go away from what works. You go away from your identity. And the reason I say coaching has greatly diminished is because I believe in the power of repeating something over and over and over again. Getting your players to the repetition from the neck on down, from the mind on down. I practice tackling over and over and over again because it's a crucial technique that needs to be utilized in the game of football. You have the Denver Broncos. You have 31 other teams that don't know how to tackle. They always tackle high. They never drop their hips and, attack the hips. They never do that anymore. You also have the offensive line that has greatly diminished. You have terrible offensive line technique. You have clotheslining left and right from 31 other teams in the Denver Broncos that just clothesline individuals that never gets called. And the NFL is reliant on these refs making these stupid penalties because they want the suspense factor. And I believe that the analytical departments are a part of that. I just don't believe in analytics. I don't believe in that. The NFL is a common sense game, and these individuals make it harder than it needs to be. And no one else out there is doing a video like this calling out Pro Football Focus because they're a direct reflection of what the NFL wants. They want the Pro Football Focus grade to get these players paid. They want the analytics to help get these players paid. These agents, these coaches, the GMs, the owners, they rely on this bullshit. But if you see a bad player, for example, like a Garrett Bowles and a Mike McGlinchey, but their Pro Football Focus grade's an 80, how does that compute when it clearly shows on the All-22 film, coaches film, that they're not very good players? But yeah, let's give them the king's ransom because we believe what Pro Football Focus is feeding us. And I believe that these organizations pay these organizations like Pro Football Focus to put out this bullshit to the fans. And the fans are duped into it every single year. They don't believe in the power of what the film shows. That's why I am so hell-bent on giving you guys the truth, giving you guys what the All-22 film shows. I am so reliant on that All-22 film because it shows things that Pro Football Focus doesn't have the context with the stats to provide you. I will provide you that here at Bucket Man Scouting. You'll get that at Denver Broncos Mile High View. You'll get that at Mile High Bubble Man. And also you have these individuals like Pro Football Focus that put out these content creating short film breakdowns that they cherry pick. You have Jackson Kruger showing the condensed film, cherry-picking plays. Instead of going series by series by series, they just like to feed you bullshit. I just believe, in my personal opinion, it is so frustrating to watch a product like the NFL just kill itself year after year after year. You just don't get good play. You don't get dominant teams anymore. You don't get dynasties anymore. They just believe in these princess quarterbacks. Oh, what does Pro Football Focus give Patrick Mahomes? A 90.1 Pro Football Focus grade. What does he give, these receivers, corners? Like, have we forgotten what the game of football really is the line of scrimmage on out? Have we forgotten the basic principles of what the game of football really is? Because I believe that's the case. We've forgotten the morals. We've forgotten the basic fundamentals of football. And these fans and these content creators just eat up these Pro Football Focus, these stats after the game. My God, they look so good. But when you watch the film, it shows a completely different story. And that's why I am so hated on here. Is because I don't go and say, oh, wow, the analytics and the stats show this. I'm going to show the context behind those stats with the basic fundamentals of what the All-22 film shows. And that frustrates a lot of people because they don't want to put in the hard work. These organizations don't want to put in the hard work anymore. Could you imagine if I was in one of those organizations right now? There would be heads rolling because the stats and analytical departments would hate me to death because I'd be going to the coaches, I'd be going to the GMs, I'd be going to the owners and be like, why the hell did you pay Mike McGlinchey all this money when the All-22 film shows that he doesn't fit your offense, that he's a liability out there? But you're going to believe these analytical people that you have in the other room that are giving Mike McGlinchey a 79.1 or an 85 Pro Football Focus grade. How does that make any sense whatsoever? You don't get good coaching anymore, and that's another thing that I need to talk about. You just don't get good coaching anymore in the NFL. I practice the basic fundamentals of football. I don't go out and say, let's go tackle high, let's go two-hand touch, let's clothesline our individuals. We're going to get down to the basic fundamentals of what the game really is. We're going to get to the bottom of why your technique is so bad. We're going to refine that technique by watching the film and doing the same technique over and over and over and over again until you get good at it. That's what coaching is. That's what coaching is. Watching these games, even the Bronco game, watching these games, I just wanted to throw up in a bucket because it's just, this product has been dog shit for years. And nobody's going to call it out. Just accept the fact that we're watching crap football. Just accept the fact that you don't get dynasties anymore. I want good football. I want a good product on the field. Not having the refs interject, not having the refs make a mark on their game, and not having these organizations pay organizations like Pro Football Focus to give you bullshit stats. It gets old. It's annoying. I want good football. That's why I'm into the high school game. That's why I'm into the college game. Because at least there's some resemblance of good football in the college game and in the high school game. So I just wanted to make this video just trying to provide you guys with something that I don't think a lot of people talk about in the NFL circles and in the football circles. I don't think people really talk about this enough. And I think that somebody needs to shed a light and nobody else will do it. So I guess Bucketman Scouting, again, has to shed a light on, the Denver Broncos. They won the game, but again, what there were other reasons why they won that game, but there's other reasons why they didn't look that good. And the bad outweighs the good. And there's a reason for that. And I can't wait to watch the All-22 film because it's just going to supplant what people, saying that we destroyed these teams. No. The All-22 film shows a completely different side of the story. And how dare these organizations, you look good one week and then you face the Denver Broncos, you cough up the ball and you look like dog shit. I mean, come on, guys. Jesus, you guys need to get your head out of your asses. because this Broncos team in general is a team that has a lot of weaknesses that you can exploit. And the Vikings did that for a half. The Bills did that here and there. The Chiefs have been doing it for eight years. But again, it finally caught up to them. They weren't up for the game. And the Packers did it. The Miami Dolphins exposed the Broncos in so many ways that, teams are like, oh, yeah, the Miami Dolphins, they did that. But, we don't have to do that because we can do trickery bullshit. Let's believe what Pro Football Focus says we need to do. Like, you guys got to shut out that Pro Football Focus analytical thing. Because it's killing your organization and it's killing the morals and understanding of the game of football. It's killing the game of the NFL. It is. It's killing it. So let me know what you guys think. Somebody has to do this, and nobody's going to have the balls to do it. So this is the Bucket Man signing out for today, and we'll see what happens moving forward. Good job, NFL. Good job.